All right, we are live. We are live. What's up, good people? Welcome to another episode of Fit World Live at 9. That's 9 o'clock on the East Coast, 6 o'clock on the West Coast, and 2 a.m. in India. Somebody's watching this show in India. We got people out there. Got Yolanda Lewis with me today.
Hey.
Yolanda's in the building or on the screen, however you want to look at it. And we're going to talk about women's emotional health today, man. I mean, we're going to talk about this subject. We're going to dive in.
Oh,
I want to ask you questions. I had the pleasure of just, surfing around Facebook one day, and, I saw this young lady talking about something and it seemed pretty interesting. I said, let me just hang out for a second, just get in and out real fast. 30 minutes later, I found I'm taking up. It's all your fault, Yolanda.
Thank you. Thank you. So glad to be here.
I got my wife in the house. What's up, wife? She's saying hi down there.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing, wife, downstairs? We got Cynthia Forbes in the building. What's up, Cynthia? As you guys are coming in right now, welcome to the show. We got a good one today. We're talking women's emotional health. Hey, Angela's in the building. And one of my other favorite guests from the past. It was a powerful one. You got to go back and watch that one, Yolanda.
Okay.
Going in, matter of fact. She was going in. And so today, so guys, listen, I normally use a different platform. I decided to give Be Live another chance because they said we can show videos. Video is a big part of this show. So what I'm getting ready to do right now is I'm getting ready to attempt a transition to show you a video. Okay? Now let's just see how well this works.
Tune in for the Fit World Live at 9 show with your host, fitness and high performance coach, Rob Howes. The official Facebook Live night show. We're talking health, wellness, how to get it and how to keep it. Every weekday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Healthy is the new wealthy, so let's get fit rich.
Fit world, fit world, fit world.
All right, so that was definitely that was definitely a fail. That was definitely a fail. But we failed gracefully, man. We failed gracefully around here. I heard the video, I saw the video, but I don't think you guys did. So, what you gonna do? Did you see a video?
I didn't. I saw something on the screen, but I didn't see. It didn't play.
Technology. So I got to mess around with this thing a little bit more. It's all good. It's no big deal. Because we don't need technology to talk.
No.
And we don't. True. So we're gonna dive in today. And ladies and gentlemen, first let me just introduce you to my guest today, Yolanda. I was gonna read your bio, but I said, you know what? Why don't you just take this opportunity and share with people who you are and what you do?
Wow. Well, thank you, Rob, and thank you for having me on the show. I'm so excited. I've watched some of your episodes in the past, and your energy is just amazing. It's invigorating, inspiring, and makes you want to watch. So thanks for allowing me to be a part of your show. I'm thankful. So my name is Yolanda Lewis, and I am an entrepreneur and a relationship mentor. I'm an author of 8 books, 8. And I love relational health. I'm actually studying that on the doctoral level. I have 2 classes left, and before I get into writing my dissertation, but I love the world of women's relational health. It comes from my own personal background and struggles of figuring out what that even means and how to achieve it. And so from that, I'm very passionate about it and have written books, as well as I have a nonprofit as well, geared towards women's relational health and youth women's relational health, young women's relational health, because it's important that we are all present to what makes us us, so that we can develop and further understand what it means to be us, who we were designed to be in this world, and make change. So I'm excited to be here, excited to be able to speak. I love every opportunity that I have to speak on and help others to be more aware of how they can improve and empower their own relational health and emotional wellness. So very excited to be here. Thank you, Rob, for allowing me to introduce myself, and I can't wait to just dig in to the conversation.
Yeah, and that's what we do. We dig. We got our shovel.
Yeah.
We like the gold rush right now. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And when we talk about, we talk about emotional health. First of all, for me, it's a mind, body, and spirit collaboration, and they have to be synergized. And for me, the spirit is the core. So you got, the mind and body and the spirit is the core. But I think, when we talk about emotional health, I think that it's like the emotional stepchild. It's like the feeling stepchild. Like that's the one we don't pay that much attention to, and more so, ladies more than men, because and this is so funny. This just came up with my wife. They're so active in taking care of everyone. Take care of the kids, take care of the husband, take care of the house. Then nothing else left.
Right.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm flying high. I know what I know, and I know 10 times more than I know.
Right? Well, I'll just touch on that if you don't mind. I'll just touch on that. You mentioned something very important, and that was with regard to emotional health. It goes unaddressed. A lot of times when we deal with issues, and I'll talk about this a little bit later in some of the tips that I want to share, but when we talk about emotional health, we ignore that piece of us. We ignore it because, like you said, there are so many other things, especially in the woman's mind, going on in our world. And I would challenge you to also consider that it's something that doesn't get explored often in the male perspective either, because emotions culturally is looked at for a man as weakness. And what's interesting is women look at it that same exact way. And so if you can manage all of these things, we're superwoman, we run businesses, we have children, we have husbands, loving on everybody, giving to our friends, taking care of the poor, the whole gamut, the whole nine. When we do all of those things, to be confronted with a point of weakness, whether you're a man or woman, is a challenge. It confronts you. And that's difficult to deal with because you're dealing with all these other things. And it's actually easy to ignore because you're dealing with all of these other things. So emotional health, it does go unaddressed, but it is absolutely critical to the total being of who we were designed to be as people. I mean, when you look at tear ducts, we have tear ducts and cry because we're supposed to feel. Our emotions are a part of our being, and God ordained a part of our being. It's who we are. We're supposed to express them. Even the scripture says, be angry but sin not. So you're supposed to experience anger. It doesn't say ignore all of your emotions and just pray and just read the word all day. That's not what it says at all. It wants you to be present, because exposing that weakness allows God to be strong in that area of your life. It actually allows God to be present in that area of your life. So I love that you said that and put it right out there, how people consider emotions or don't consider it. And that is part of the challenge in dealing with and confronting your emotional health. And not you, but people in general, their emotional health.
And so would that be, because I know you have five major points we talked about earlier.
Yes.
Would that be acknowledgement?
Yes, that would be acknowledgement, but acknowledgement, I look at it a little bit different in that it's important when you acknowledge to be present. So you're present to what is and what is not. So your past is not what is because it's in the past. You are not your past. You are not the terrible things that you may have experienced. For myself, I experienced trauma growing up in the form of sexual abuse from age 3 up to about 11. And so it took me a long time to explore and separate that experience from my present day and all of the nuances, if you will, that come with those layers, that onion of layers that come with having to deal with that trauma. So when you're acknowledging, yes, that you need emotional wellness in some way, shape, or form, but also that you are separate from what is and what is not. And what is that you are still here. What is that you did survive. And what is that because you are alive, you have the ability and the opportunity to thrive and move forward.
Mm. Mm. Acknowledgments, it seems like that's a little self-centering device.
Almost, yeah, it is. It's confronting. I would say it's confronting. It's addressing you. It's looking in the mirror. It's looking in the mirror. And sometimes that's hard to do for women, especially because you might not like what you see. I can only speak from a woman's perspective because I'm a woman, but you might, and there's some things I know because I've been married 16 years. So I've just learned how men do things. But for a woman, it's difficult to confront who you are today because, again, it exposes weaknesses. And weakness is something that we have been taught in society is a bad thing. And even for myself, I'll use as an example, when I had an issue with confronting weakness because I saw it as, well, weakness is what got me to the place of being molested, being taken advantage of. And that carried all the way through, not just me dealing with that trauma, but in other relationships as well. So in life, you're going to be hurt. You're going to go through people using you or, taking advantage of you or mistreating you. It's how you respond to that makes you who you are. And for me, it would just get clumped all into, see, look at you, you're weak. And so then I became mean to try to offset that weakness, like, no, I'm not weak, And so in order to keep myself strong, I'm going to cut everybody and everything else off so that I don't even feel at all. And then I can now see myself, look in the mirror and see strength, when really it's weakness upon hurt, upon trauma, upon disaster that God wanted to really get down and fix and heal and help me with. Yes, the mirror will expose some things. Yes. So it looks like you might be frozen, Rob. I think I'll just wait.
All right.
Okay, here we are. We're back.
A little freezing, a little icy pop for a second.
Yeah, a little icy pop.
So, so the mirror will expose some things. The mirror will definitely expose some things, let me tell you. The mirror is the reason in more ways than some, because the mirror is how I actually begin to lose weight and really launch my fitness career for real.
Yeah.
I was an athlete my whole life, and whole life. And then you get comfortable. 12 years ago, I'm walking past the mirror.
Yeah.
And I walk past, you guys be the mirror. You guys will be the mirror. I'm walking by.
Right. Right. Yeah.
What in the world is
right.
going on? And looking at myself, and I never see myself.
Right.
You don't see yourself. And so from a physical standpoint, that made a shift. And I shifted from there.
Right.
And it's the same thing emotionally and logically, spiritually, everything.
Absolutely.
Self. Taking a look at yourself. I believe whatever you can measure, you can change.
Yeah.
And you measure it when you take a look at who you are.
Right.
Right.
So true. So true. And then after it's so funny because after you look at yourself, then sometimes you have guilt. Sometimes you have shame. Like, how the heck did I'm sure on a fitness level too. How did I get here? Why am I looking, where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
And you put this pressure on yourself. So from there, you have to learn how to forgive. And you have to practice that forgiveness with forgiving not only you or the people that have hurt you in the past, but also forgiving yourself for whatever choices led up to then, or for the things that happened to you and you have nothing to do with, but you've blamed yourself for years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
So I would say, as a next step, or, point 2, if you will, after you acknowledge, it's important then to practice and work on forgiveness.
And that's hard. I mean, that's,
yes.
Like I heard that,
Right.
and I'm a coach,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the hardest things to do, I think, on the planet.
Yeah.
Because you can say the words.
You can.
You say it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're doing it. And
right.
I think it's a 3-day weekend series.
It is, yeah.
Part of forgiveness.
Yes.
So how would somebody, like, for example, when you experience something, we're real humans, we have real emotions.
Right.
Wrongs you. You don't want to hold on to it, but what are the things we can do practically that we can do to release it and to let go of it mentally and emotionally? What are some things we could do?
I love that question. As I mentioned, I think I touched on it earlier, but with forgiveness, people want to just let go of it. And if it were that easy, we'd all just be free people in the space of forgiveness.
Yeah.
But you actually have to process the emotion that is tied to forgiveness. So what happens when we take that, I'll use my little headphones, for example. We take the experience, right? We say, you know what? I'm over it. We're done with it. And that's that over there. What happens when we put that over there is we also put the emotion tied to it over there. And so then we don't process what really happened to us. What are you really forgiving? You can say, like you said, forgiveness is one thing you can't fake. You can't pretend to forgive nobody.
Yeah. Right.
And say it again.
I said, no, you're right.
Yeah, you can't fake it, because it will come back up. So what happens then when it does come back up, if you do try to pretend, is now you have all of the emotion from that other thing or those other things coming forward in the one situation. So the person is either looking at you like, because you just wigged out like you're crazy because you're taking out all of this stuff from the rear into that situation, or you are going crazy because you haven't dealt with the other stuff that you need to deal with. So my recommendation to a true practical step to forgiveness is to process the emotion. Sit in it. Let yourself feel it, as bad as it might be, not forever, but let yourself feel it. And if you feel as though that those negative feelings are kind of dragging out, longer than should be, you want to get some help. I'm a big believer in therapy, counseling. Reach out to a friend, whatever it takes to get you started so you don't stay there, but process the emotion. You have to let it pass through you. Just like from a physical standpoint with our bodies, when there is waste in our body, toxicity, it has to exit. We're designed for it to exit. We're not designed to hold in toxicity. Now, it doesn't mean the food is bad, but the way our bodies break it down, it has to pass the excess. The same process applies to emotional awareness, if you will, and emotional health. Yes, God is saying, bring that emotion to me. Exactly. And so when you bring that emotion to him, you can pass the excess. But if you're never present to that emotion and never process that emotion, you miss that. And what happens when your body's backed up with waste? Yucky. We'll just say that. Yucky.
Yeah. It's like being backed up on a highway. Yucky.
That's right.
Yucky. Okay.
That's right. It's painful.
It's painful in more ways than one.
Yes, exactly.
I like that. Allowing the process, acknowledging it, and I guess it goes back to acknowledgement again. And allowing yourself to process it.
Right.
That's a good tip. It's a good tip. And sometimes it can slide under the radar.
It does. It does, because you're so focused on moving forward. And that's my other comment with resiliency development. You want to develop resilience. And basically, resilience is just the ability to be able to move forward. It's a decision. It's a mindset that no matter what comes at you, no matter what's happening in your space, to remind you of all of the stuff that you thought you forgave, or maybe there were layers of forgiveness that you explored layer one, but now it's time to address layer two. So here come all these things that are going to remind you of that, whether they are people, whether they are even your own thoughts, reminding you of how you may have failed at forgiving, which really, I believe there's levels to it. So I don't think you fail at forgiving. You just have to process at different levels. But you build that resiliency to say, you know what? Yes, okay, I have some things to work on. Or yes, okay, I did forgive. Or just practicing that ability to move forward is important as a next step after you have processed or gone through the process of forgiveness.
Absolutely. I think I think resilience is a muscle. I think it's
yes,
like everything else, and
absolutely.
And how do muscles build?
Right.
Strength.
Resistance. That's right. Resistance. Yep. I like that. And we don't want, even with the body, and I'm guilty of this myself. I'm ex-military, and so I'll never forget being in basic training. And I couldn't do one push-up. I have lower body strength.
Yeah.
I have this much upper body strength, even back when I was way younger. And so I was in the way you do your PT test is you're faced one direction and the rest of the line is faced the other direction to try to keep you, from feeling intimidated, all that good stuff.
Right.
So I was in the push-up position and I'm going down, and the drill sergeant kept saying 1, 1, 1. Now I thought I was working it to the best of my ability. I was working it. I thought I was anyways, and I wasn't. I didn't do not one. I failed that part of the PT test. I rocked out my run though, but
did you? Are you okay?
Yeah, but I failed the PT test. But so what I had to do to build up my muscle was extra training. So at night when everybody was asleep, I had my rifle and I was doing arm lifts and all kind of crazy stuff to try to build my arm strength. Okay. And it wasn't until the last test that I actually passed my PT test. But so it took me the whole 9 weeks is my point. However, you have to work that muscle, to your point. You have to work that muscle through resistance.
And you know what? I love the fact that you said it took you all 9 weeks. A lot of us think that we're going to watch a YouTube video or have a session with a coach, and all of a sudden it's all going to change instantly. This is not a pour water and stir situation.
No, no. And those kind of foods aren't even good for you.
Yeah, right. They're not good for you at all.
Yeah.
And so, although it's at the end, you got to it at the end because we got this thing called incremental growth. It's a law. It's like a law of gravity. Law of incremental growth, and you keep doing something over and over again. Right. Eventually, you get an outcome. Yes. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. Eventually, you will. And so the next step then, after you decide that you're going to be resilient, is to increase your knowledge. Like you said, you go to the coach, you go to the YouTube video, you listen to lives like this, and you get information that's going to help you to be reflective. Because that knowledge is teaching you, the you that you were designed to be, the you that you were created to be, minus all the stuff, minus the trauma, minus the negative emotions. And a lot of times what you'll learn, or what you do learn, it comes, you'll learn that the carrying of that is not just you not dealing with the trauma, but also you not being able to freely practice expression. So when you look at childhood, a lot of times parents will say, no, to a son, right? Hush that noise up. Don't cry. You're a boy, man up. You're a boy. Don't cry, whatever. But men are human. You have to cry. You got to know how to practice that. And it's just easy to pick on men. But women go through the same experience where you're almost choked in not being able to express negative emotions. So then you don't know how to do it. And you either hold it all inside, or it comes out in unhealthy ways where you're either externally hurting other people or internally hurting yourself, from thoughts of suicide all the way till bulimia and cutting and, all that kind of stuff. So it's important to get knowledge after you have this decision to be resilient, after you've made this decision to move forward and be firm in that, committed to that decision. You have to then relearn who you are and who you want to be, separate from what people told you should be, separate from what statistics said you should be based
Yeah.
on what you experienced. You have to relearn who you are, get back in touch with what that means, and how you want that to look going forward. As I mentioned before, we don't have choice in how we start our journey. We don't get that option of how we're going to start, but you do have the option to choose how you'll finish and how you'll move forward with how you want to carry out your life. So you have to learn yourself. You have to learn what you don't know.
Know thyself. Know thyself.
Yes.
So
So
what steps you could take to begin that journey of knowing thyself, or what are some things we can do?
Oh yeah, I think one of the things that I enjoy doing, or I started out doing, was journaling. That helped me to journaling. So
Yeah.
when you're not comfortable with talking to other people just yet, and back when I was going through this stuff, YouTube wasn't readily available. Be Live wasn't readily available. You weren't doing your show. So there wasn't access to some of these resources that are helpful as well. So I started out journaling, and I still believe, even with all the resources that we have, journaling is relevant, and it helps you to write down what's really in here. Sometimes stuff that you didn't even know was inside of you will flow out of you through your writing. And so I started journaling, and what I found when I started was my journaling looked more like poetry.
Yeah.
And so then I thought I was supposed to be a poet, but that wasn't it. It was just an expression. I couldn't get that rhythm down, but it helped me to express. And so I would recommend that as a first step to getting in touch with you is journaling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Journaling has helped me so many levels, and
Yeah.
I think I may have hurt some people if I didn't journal.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And I would not be a good person. Like if I didn't have, like, through the arts, that's
Yeah.
how I first came to the world, through the artistry, writing, music, and I
Yes.
learned that writing music, it was therapeutic.
Yes.
And I think the songs were so good because they were so real.
Right.
It's like I'm just like some talented guy, but this is some real emotions coming out
Real.
on the paper, into the mic, and then like it just it refreshed me.
Yes.
Journaling is the same way. So, you're writing your thoughts down. Again, I think it's another way of detoxing.
It is. Release. Absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth. It's a release. It's a release. And we're designed to release. We're designed. That's why and I mentioned crying, but even when you want to express love, you hug, you touch.
Yeah.
It's a release. It's an expression. And so it's all good when we release through journaling. If you don't have a place to start, that's where I would recommend starting. And what I found too is journaling is progressive. So let's say you have done journaling in the past, you were a different person then. Try journaling again. Some other things will flow. And you might even, I know for me, I began to hear the Lord speak to me as I was writing. So in my journaling, and I thought I had one close by, but in one of my old journals, you can see where it's me, and then you can see where it's God speaking through my hand to me, and it began to be a conversation. So now I'm able to have conversation, because here's the thing: when you go through trauma like molestation as a child, and what you learn how to not do is communicate. And so with that, when you don't communicate, you can't build intimacy, because you don't have trust. And so when you can't build intimacy because you don't have trust, it's not necessarily because you don't want to trust. It's because you don't know how to trust.
How to trust.
And so even I grew up in the church, even with God, it wasn't that I didn't want to trust him. I didn't know how to do that. So I had to practice that through journaling and becoming intimate with my relationship with him, allowing him to speak back to me, allowing myself to trust him enough to listen to what he had to say, to help me.
That's something right there. Allow myself to trust him enough to where you could hear him. That's the bridge.
Yes.
the trust, which is the faith.
Yes.
Faith is the bridge that connects us
Right.
to God,
Yes, right.
to that voice. It's difficult to hear.
It is.
When life is happening and it's going in a direction, and you got the naysayers, and it doesn't seem like you have a support system.
Right.
But it's trusting.
Right.
Having that faith, which will then release the negative noise and giving you the clarity that you need to hear.
That's right. And confidence.
And
confidence to be able to make a decision of resilience and move forward.
Man.
And so with the last step that, it's that we were talking about, it has to do with connection. And so being able to connect to God or your higher power, I believe in God, but to connect to that so that you can find oneness within yourself and be able to connect with other people in a healthy way, in a healthy manner, in a way that's going to help you both, the relationship, whatever that is, friendship, romantic, professional, business,
right?
So it can grow, so you both can grow without being able to connect, which involves some level of intimacy. Even now, where our exchange has some level of transparency, of intimacy, where we're both sharing with the viewers some stuff from that's transparent. Right. And that's building a connection, which builds relationship and helps all of us, everybody in this room and who will listen to the rebroadcast, it helps all of us to grow. So connection is important. But again, as I mentioned, connection involves intimacy, which also involves trust and helps to build confidence within yourself. So it's very important that you explore. You can't do connection. It's very important that you explore connection. You can't do connection before you do acknowledgement, before you do forgiveness, before you do resiliency, knowledge. You can't do any of that before connection. Or you can't do connection before any of that.
Right. Yeah, all of it's got to be lined up.
It has to.
All be lined. And it looks like if you're not connected, you're
broken.
Yeah, and disconnected.
And that's when you find yourself looking for what will fill that void between those connecting points. Yeah. Now you're looking for it in people. Now you're looking for it in things. Now you're looking for it in stuff, shopping. And this is where you get into addictive behaviors, all of that. That's where all that comes in. It's trying to fill the gaps of the process. You can't rush the process. You can't rush it. You got to go through it. The only way out is to go through. And so if you try to skip that, you're going to find yourself looking for stuff to fill that won't even suffice. It won't even suffice.
Guys, if you just tuned in, I'm here with Yolanda Lewis. This is Live at 9. We're talking about women's emotional health. This is really emotional health, for the human species, okay?
Yes.
Straight up and down. And yes. I love this piece, this piece connection, and it's interesting because, so my faith, I'm a Christian, that's how, I was raised that way, but that's not what I did in college.
Sure.
I don't know what I was doing in college. Was doing college.
Right.
When I found my wife, our relationship would go no further unless we either went to counseling or we tried church.
Right.
Once we said, okay, we're going to try church. Because our experience with church, it wasn't anything that was exciting.
Right.
But now we're adults.
Right.
We go through the doors, and I literally, as dramatic as it sounds, literally, when I went through the doors, I felt,
yeah.
It felt something new was
yes.
happening. And that began the relationship for me and God. The
yes.
relationship. Through that connection, I became a different person. Through that connection, my perspective changed, my empathy changed, my overall being changed.
Right.
Connection. Now, since the time I got connected into today, there's been times when I've been disconnected. I am not the same person.
No. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I question who the heck is that person.
Right.
That's the disconnected person.
That's right. That's right.
That's
right on. Yeah. That's right on. And again, you just spoke to the point of why it's important to explore those other steps, because you can't skip them and go right to connection. And that's what we do. That's why people have sex and then they don't, you're grown, right? This is grown folks stuff. So you get engaged in a physical relationship, and then you can't stand each other because now you're realizing all this other stuff that was really there to begin with. But because you were looking to that person to fill gaps and not actually help to build you as a person, you cause more conflict.
Yolanda, this is let me tell you something. You might already be doing this. This is a pre-marital webinar. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, I'm thinking about, why is 50% of marriages failing?
Yes.
I'm like, and I know because they didn't used to fail.
Right.
This is a new thing.
Right.
You go through these 5 steps.
Yeah.
Concluding with connection.
Right.
That's how your marriage will stay connected.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so funny you say that, because I actually have a workshop coming up. Shameless plug. I have a workshop coming up. It's called the Intimate Workshop. And the Intimate Workshop is it actually happens in 2 sessions. Session 1 is exclusive for women, and it explores intimacy through self-awareness and prayer. And so I teach on that, and then we do some things together as a group to help us to just get to the phase of acknowledgement. And then you leave with like it's a 30-day guide that you could use to just self-explore deeper. And then there is session 2, and session 2 is for couples only. And the couples only session explores 9 principles. You didn't see all my fingers, so 9 principles to help you to further build the intimacy in your relationship. So I'll be teaching, but then there will be a point of activity. So it's not just a boring seminar. It's a workshop where you will learn and then you will apply. And then it closes with a nice dinner. You can stay at the hotel that we're having it at in Atlanta. And however you choose to close out your night in terms of connection is up to y'all. But the opportunity to get away, and it's important to just step away sometimes. It's just a 1-day workshop, because I want people to apply what's learned, and I want them to not only apply what's learned in terms of what they'll learn that day, but to apply what's learned going forward as it relates to intimacy. So that's the only thing we talk about is intimacy and communication, and we practice building it. I am my phone. We're gonna do some moving around because my battery. And I don't want to lose you.
That's good. I want to make sure. So I'm gonna have you send to me in Messenger.
Yes.
All the links that you want, and I'm just going to copy and paste it in the description.
Perfect.
You also put that inside my the wellness tribe I connected you to. That's my wonderful community for folks. We on a mission. On a mission.
We are, and that's the thing. It's not about if your relationship is in turmoil or if there's something wrong with it. It's not about that. It's about making it stronger and making it last. If you're already wonderful in your relationship, great. Tell another couple or come with them, another couple, and let's all build together, because there is strength in being able to be in an atmosphere that's charged with love, genuine love. If you can feel that type of energy when you enter a room. And so I want all of the couples who choose to attend to experience that. And again, it's not just because your relationship is in trouble. It's because you want to add value to the relationship that you have and demonstrate to those who might be going through. Because that's the other thing, too. No one says, yep, my marriage is in trouble until it's too late. Until it's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah, and so I want to help to be a part of the mission that prevents that by giving you information and tools that you can use to help avoid that. You don't get married to get divorced. No one signs up for that.
Right.
So, but sometimes you just need, a recharge, a reset. Sometimes you need to just start over within each other, not in another relationship. Sometimes that's the case too. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you need to just begin again and start fresh and put all the cards on the table and put all of our ego in the trash
Yeah,
and really start building with each other.
that's good. That's good. That's some good stuff right there.
I'm
And
excited.
how powerful and necessary.
Yes, necessary. Yes, so necessary.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about, like, I'm not going to play a video because it's not going to work. I'm gonna talk about our detox, and then we're going to have your big tip. What is the big thing you want to leave everybody with?
Okay. Okay.
That big thing. All right, guys. So we're talking about the detox right now, which is starting on February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. Detox. All right, 40-day detox. We're doing a sugar detox. And so it sounds scary. Some folks are running. Some folks are hiding. But guess what? When you get through with this detox, as we were just talking about, cleansing yourself, your body and mind is going to be at a totally different place, right? No matter, even folks who went through for a couple of weeks didn't do the whole 40 days. Just making a conscious step and saying, I'm going to cut some of this sugar out of my life. I'm going to start eating healthier deliberately. And so you want to join us, come over to the group, 40 Days of Wellness. One of the Wellness Tribe, one of the members, can you put our group in there? Come to 40 Days of Wellness. We're right here on Facebook. Get your guidelines, get your meal plans, and get set up to really take your life to the next level. You'd be amazed how good you're going to feel, how good food will taste once you get away from sugar for a second. Yeah, it is absolutely phenomenal. So definitely swing by. All right. Now, Yolanda, we have this thing called the big tip. Let me put this thing up here. Big tip. All right. So, we're talking emotional health. If there was one thing you could leave the planet with,
wow, that's heavy.
What would that be?
Oh man, that's majorly heavy. I would say, geez, just one. Okay. I would say don't let a day go by without being present.
Ooh, I like that.
Don't let a day go by without being present.
Like
Meaning, don't let a day go by where you miss an opportunity to love, where you miss an opportunity to be free, where you miss an opportunity to release. You talked about detox. Don't miss those opportunities to detox emotionally and spiritually, so that you can enjoy your physical and mental and everything else, your whole being health. So don't let a day go by without being present.
I love that. It's super, super important, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's profound. It's funny. It's not very long.
No.
It's very profound because see, the past is gone.
Yeah.
And the future is not even promised.
Nope.
So the present is your gift. That is your present.
Mm-hmm.
So cherish it like that. I love it, Yolanda.
Yay.
That was good stuff. Guys, anybody have any questions for Yolanda? And while I'm waiting for questions to come through, how can people find you? Where do you live at the most?
Yes, so I live on Facebook the most,
Yeah.
but you can find me at any one of my social media outlets, Instagram, Instagram and Facebook at the Yolanda Lewis, THE Yolanda Lewis, all one word. You can also find me on Twitter at Y_Lewis. And I would encourage you to go to my website, theyolandalewis.com, because there you'll find information about my latest book number 8, Wife Pray Win, your guide to become a wife whose prayers move mountains, as well as information about the intimate workshop. You want to get more information about that. And if you're in Atlanta for February 27th, you want to be sure to attend. So that's our session 1 we're doing with just the ladies. Session 2 is going to be March 10th, also in Atlanta, and you can book reservation there. But be sure to visit the website so you can get more information about the intimate workshop. I really want to work with the women and the couples. But first coming up is the February workshop session 1 with the women. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. Check it out, theyolandalewis.com. And I can't wait to see you guys.
Yolanda, thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely.
Doing what you're doing. Thank you for being on Facebook Live. At that time, you were on Facebook Live, so I could spy on you on Facebook Live and bring you on my Facebook Live.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And ladies and gents, you can find Yolanda. You can, when you look at this video, I'm gonna put her information in the tag. I'm in the description, so you can follow her wherever she is and support what she's doing. I'm a firm believer. You know, we see a lot of videos go viral that have no business going viral.
Yeah.
No business. If we can get behind some good stuff and put all our energy behind that and make some things go viral, that's going to create some virality and some positive, impactful change.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about something.
Yeah.
So my goal is 1 billion healthy, Yolanda. 1 billion healthy, and people like you. It made me feel like, you know what, we're getting closer. So thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you. I love what you're doing. Thank you for being on purpose.
Thank you. And guys, remember, the future is what you do today. So do something today that will impact your tomorrow. Peace.